Warning. Applying these principles may change your life. People will look at you differently. You'll walk straighter, live bolder, and find out who you are. This is the Manlihood ManCast.
Hey guys, Josh Hatcher here for the Manlihood ManCast. I am so glad you guys chose to join us today. We are going through a series of episodes about things that men don't want to talk about. And we have talked about some pretty dark stuff, some deep stuff, and there's just going to be more of that. Because the truth is, men, we don't like to talk about certain things. And I think that if we keep them in the dark, there's a problem. Because mold grows in darkness. Fungus grows in darkness. So when you can shed a light on something, you can kill the stuff that's rotting. You know, honestly, UV light, for example, sunshine, will kill the bacteria that causes things to rot. It will kill the mold. It will kill the fungus. So shining a light on these things that we don't like to talk about, in the end, it's going to help us. So today's episode, guys, we're going to talk about domestic violence, and there's a couple facets of that I really want to unpack with you guys so that we can talk about it to its fullest extent. And we'll be right back with that right here on the Manlihood ManCast in just a minute.
Hey man, I see you. I see your fire going out. I see your marriage barely holding on. I know you're broke, wore out, and at the end of your rope. I've been there. It sucks. It sucks the spark right out of you. Till all you have is a pile of wet wood. It feels like it's never gonna burn. I can't fix your problems. I can't make her love you again. I can't lose 50 pounds for you or fill your bank account. But I can remind you of who you are. I can share some of my fire. I can help you make a plan to get your life back on track. So let's go. Let's do this. Let's reignite our lives. There's a lot at stake. No one wants their marriage to end in divorce. No one wants to wallow in despair or to the dark places that follow. So let's do it. Let's reignite our lives. Let's reignite our passion, our marriage, our health, our career, our dreams, our mindsets. Get reignite today.
Hey guys, welcome to the Manlihood ManCast. I am so glad that you guys joined us today. Listen, we are talking about things that men don't want to talk about, and in today's episode, we're going to get into domestic violence. And like I said, there's a couple facets of this that we should probably address. Men in various situations don't like to talk about it. The first situation, guys, is in men who abuse their spouses or girlfriends and their children. They abuse their domestic partners and their children. And I want to make it clear that this is unacceptable. There is never an excuse. There is never a reason why this would ever be okay. It's a common thing that happens. I can guarantee you that there are men that are listening to this that have been in a situation where this has bubbled over and they have gotten out of control and they've raised a hand to somebody they shouldn't. They have gone beyond appropriately disciplining their children to abusing their children. They've gone beyond keeping their cool to either verbally or physically or even sexually abusing their spouse. Guys, these things happen and they're unacceptable. And if you have found yourself in a position where you have messed up, I want you to know and understand that I do believe there's hope for you. I don't necessarily believe that you should, your spouse is not obligated to take you back. I want to make that clear. I know a lot of times when this has happened, men just, well, you need to just forgive me and we need to go forward and I'll never do it again. Guys, if you don't fix the problem, you're gonna do it again. It's pretty simple. There's a reason inside of you. There are things that you believe and there are things that you do not have mastery over and control over. And you cannot just will yourself into dealing with this. It's gonna take some work. And when you have broken that trust and put the person that you're supposed to love in harm's way, you do not have the right to expect them to stay with you. I will say I have known relationships that have made it work. I have. But I want to make it clear that if a woman wants to leave, and honestly, she probably should until you get the help that you need. And even then, guys, I mean, I know they always say once an abuser, always abuser, and there is a lot of truth to that because men don't fix their crap because they don't talk about this. And I can understand, because if you come to me and tell me, man, I beat my wife, I am going to view you in a certain way. And it's going to make you feel bad about yourself because you know that I view you in that way. And so a lot of men, because of that shame, don't talk about it and they don't get the help that they need. So if you are a man who is an abuser, there's a reason that you're abusing. There's things that you've learned, things that you know. There's issues with your anger that you need to get under control. Don't expect to have the person that you abused continue to love and serve you, to continue to have a relationship with you. It's an unreasonable expectation if you expect it. I'm just letting you know that. Don't. It may happen. You may find healing. I know people who have. But don't assume that it will. Because if that has been you, if you have been abusive, sir, you have lost the privilege of that relationship. If you get it back, it's by the grace of God. And it's because you have made tremendous strides. Don't expect to get it back. Okay? I just want you to know. If you've done it, expect it to be over. Can it be saved? I can't say that it won't. I know that it has. But don't assume it will. I know, I kind of harped on that. I just want to make that super clear. If you're a woman who's listening to this podcast and you're being abused, get out. Don't even consider going back unless you have seen drastic change. Because it's not safe and it's not acceptable. Don't make excuses for it. Don't tolerate it and move on. If the person that you're with has made steps to get counseling, to get professional help, and has done what they need to do, and you've gotten couples counseling together, okay, then let's talk about it. Doesn't mean it's an automatic yes, but let's talk about it. So I just want to make that clear. People don't want to talk about this because, especially men, because they feel ashamed that they have lost that control. They know that a real man doesn't hit a woman, and so if they've hit a woman, then they're not a real man. I want you to know you can be. I do believe that you can be redeemed. I believe that the worst of us can find hope, and the worst of us can find forgiveness, and the worst of us can be made right. But that doesn't mean that anybody owes us their allegiance, okay? So yes, there is a degree of shame that will hold you back from talking about this, but you need to not just share it with everybody, okay? If you walk around and say, hey, I'm a domestic abuser, you're going to have a hard time. Because they're not going to relate to it and they're not going to understand it. You do need to be careful and selective with who you share it with, but you definitely need to share it with somebody. You need to get counseling, you need to get help, you need to get therapy, you need to move forward. You need to get that anger under control so that you do not continue this cycle, so that your kids do not continue this cycle. Get help. All right, I think we've talked enough about that kind of domestic abuse. The other kind of domestic abuse is when a man is abused physically by a woman. This is not something that we see common. In fact, the numbers are very low reported because men are also ashamed of being beaten by a woman. They don't want to admit that their woman got the best of them because that says, I'm weak. And they don't want to talk about that. I get it. We don't like to talk about these things, but we're going to talk about them. Men, it's just as like it's in the same way that it's unacceptable for you to raise your hand to a woman, it's also unacceptable for her to raise a hand to you. It's not acceptable. You don't have to tolerate it. You don't have to put up with it. If you're being verbally abused, I think that you need to start with counseling and start working through that process. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. But if you're being physically abused especially, you need to get out. And you need to let her figure it out on her own. And it should cost her something. You know, don't just, if you have to file charges, file charges. Who cares? But what you don't do is you don't tolerate it. You also don't respond in kind. Just because she strikes you, you block the strike if you must, and you get out. You don't have to tolerate it to happen. I know a man who, his wife got ticked off and gave him a black eye, and he was so embarrassed when he had to come around in public, and he, kind of had to tell what happened. He didn't want to lie about it. He's an honest person, and he told me, and I could tell the shame that he felt. And it sucks. It sucks. And you may not even want to tell everybody, just like the other way around. You might not want to tell everybody about it, but you do need to talk to somebody. One, you need to get safe, and you need to make sure that your wife gets whatever help that she needs to get her stuff straight. Okay? And you don't just resume a relationship because she says she's sorry and she'll change. No, you need to get counseling. You need to get therapy. She needs to, and you need to work through these issues, because that kind of anger that turns physical between two partners is a serious anger that needs to be dealt with. And if it's happening to you, men, you are not alone. It's just that guys don't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. It's uncomfortable to talk about. I have been very fortunate in that has not happened to me. But I know many men who it has happened to. And I know that it's hard. It's very hard for them to face it and to deal with it. So if you're going through that, guys, get help. Don't tolerate it. Don't put up with it. Just walk out the door. Call the police. Report it. It's okay. I mean, that's a little bit shameful because it gets out there that it happened. But if she's going to do that to you, she needs to stop. Guys, again, this works the other way. If you're a woman and you're listening, it's the same thing. If you are a partner being abused, report them. File charges. Get them out. You get out or get them out, whatever you got to do, and then you get help. Because it's unacceptable for that kind of behavior to happen, especially in a relationship. There's no reason for that. The only reason for it is darkness and brokenness inside that takes therapy, that takes help to get right. So I just want to encourage you, if you find yourself in the spot where you feel that surge of emotion, you feel that anger rising, and that anger is turning into verbal abuse, if that anger is turning into physical abuse, get out, get help. Don't move forward. Get help. Fix it now before it's too late. Guys, it's unacceptable. You matter. Your spouse matters. Your loved ones matter. Your family matters. Don't tear it up because you're angry. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, when you're angry, sometimes the best thing to do is to shut your mouth. A lot of times, the reason you're angry has nothing to do with what the other person is even saying. The reason that you're angry is because you've got crap in here and in here that you need to get straight. So let's deal with this like a car racing towards a cliff. You've got a car. This is your anger, and he's racing towards a cliff, and he's going as fast as he can. If you wait until right before the line to slam on the brakes, you're not going to have time to stop, and you're going to go over the cliff. So if you know that you've been getting angry a lot, you know that you've had this problem. Maybe you've not gotten physical, but maybe you've not even been verbally abusive, but you've been getting angry a lot. Step on the brakes now. Go see a counselor now. Talk to a good friend right now. Get it under control and look for the roots. Why are you this angry? What's causing this? And most of the time, it's not because of what she is saying or what he is saying or whatever. It's because of what you've got going on from your past, from your baggage, from your inability to manage your own stress and emotions. I'm not saying that to shame you. I'm saying the only person whose responsibility it is to get help for yourself is you. So if you are noticing that you're having some problems with your anger, get it under control, get some help, deal with it. Anyway, guys, I know we're talking about stuff nobody likes to talk about, especially not men, and I apologize if it's put you in an uncomfortable position to have to think and to have to process and to have to work through things. Nah, never mind. I'm not sorry, because I care about you enough to know that you're going to work on your crap. That's why we're talking about it. Anyway, guys, we've got more in this series coming up in the next couple weeks, so I want you to tune back in and check them out. Honestly, this stuff is important, and we need to talk about these things. So if you want to talk about it in more detail, please feel free to shoot me a message. If I can talk to you, I will. If I can't, I'll relay you to somebody who can. I'll say, this person knows what you're going through. You can talk to them. And I'll hook you up the best that I can. But if nothing else, find somebody to talk to about it that you trust. Care about you guys. I love you guys. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you soon.
You want to be a better man? Check out our website, manlihood.com, for blogs, videos, and more from our Manlihood team. Men, you can also join our private Facebook group, Manlihood ManCast, where you can meet up with a band of brothers who will challenge you and help you on your journey of manhood. Be sure to check out all our resources at manlihood.com/store. This episode is produced by Thatcher Media for manlihood.com. Our manly theme music is from Austin Sterling and also from Mark Cruz. Sure to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes, YouTube, or whatever you're listening to. Tune in again for more of the Manlihood ManCast.